beautiful Florida. And today our question comes to us from Shadowlander. And Shadowlander has this question. How would you go about incorporating a belief system from Star Trek into your actual metaphysical practice? And my answer to this question is that you would do it in exactly the same way that you would incorporate any other belief that you had come to have faith in. And part of this would be meditating on it, thinking about it, making sure that you really do feel that it makes sense and has relevance to you. Not simply accepting it because it sounds good, but looking at it, looking into it, looking around the world about you to see if it seems to follow through, and incorporating it by simply starting to believe it, and by using it as part of the foundation of your working. Now, of course, I must point out I do not know what the belief system in question is, but I will say that many works of science fiction have incorporated ideas that are current in actual metaphysics. So it's not really surprising that you might find a belief system in Star Trek or any other science fiction work that might fit in perfectly well with everyday metaphysics, because many of the people in the science fiction world also have a background in metaphysics. Certainly not all of them, but many of them. And we were speaking about this in an earlier vlog on the subject of Star Wars. But not only there, but also Star Trek and many other works, you find ideas that are perfectly commonplace in metaphysics. For example, in Star Trek, they often work with the idea of dimensionality, the idea that there are parallel universes that in some cases are very close to our own and some are very distant from our own in terms of similarities. And this is very much a current metaphysical point of view and has been for some time. Certainly not everyone in the metaphysical world holds this point of view, but it's not an uncommon one. And we spoke about the Force in Star Wars and how it resembles ideas about psychic energy, and there are many other similar things. So I don't think it would be particularly odd to find a belief system in Star Trek that you might want to incorporate into your everyday metaphysical practice. And again, how would you do that? You do it the same way you do anything else. If you have incorporated ideas from, for example, Buddhism or Confucianism or Hinduism, you would incorporate ideas from science fiction in just the same way. You would bring it into your personal belief system in a way that makes sense to you and makes sense within your worldview. And as I say, I think it's very important not to adopt beliefs just because they look good, but they need to make sense to you. And you need to have some understanding of them. It doesn't have to be a perfect understanding, but it should be something that you can understand and somewhat wrap your head around. If you find you cannot wrap your head around it, then I would say wait a while and come back to it, and you may find that your ability to understand it has increased considerably. I found that in my own studies, and I often advise people to do that when they reach something that just doesn't make sense to them, particularly things like dimensionality. So in closing, I would say that, again, you would adapt that belief system in just the same way that you would any other, and not think of it as being particularly different because of its origin. It's its content that is important. And if that content makes sense to you and works with your understanding of the universe, the fact that you found it in science fiction makes no real difference. So that would be my answer. I hope you find it helpful, and until next time, may you blessed be. Please join me for our Correllian Peace Prayer. I pray for peace. I pray for love. I pray for stability. I pray for the nation where I live. I pray for the world. Hello, this is Reverend Don Lewis coming to you from witchschool.com. Are you looking for the best in pagan and magical education? With more than 12,000 pages, witchschool.com is like having your own personal library with individual learning assistants to help you study. And Witchschool's Anyone, Anytime, Anywhere education system is available any place on Earth, anywhere you are and anytime you want it, as long as you have an internet connection. Witchschool's lifetime memberships are a great value. They really do last a lifetime. They've been there for years and they'll be there for years to come. So get your membership today at witchschool.com.